Welcome to the Season 3 preview, kids, of Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. You've been through the break. You've come through the worst of it. You've had Two Nations withdrawals. You've been DTs the whole time. Shaking, can't hold your cigarette. It's been ugly, okay? You've had people talking to you, trying to coach you and counsel you through it. Your girl's been holding your hand. You're struggling, okay? Well, guess what? Your fix is back because Two Nations is back. We're kicking it off here today with the Season 3, count 'em, 3 preview. Here, as always, Tom Clark with Jay Luft and Joe Higgens, back for the third and final season of a little show we call Ted Lasso. Can't wait to get into it, guys. Jay, we will kick it off with you this time. Thoughts about Season 3 of Ted Lasso?
I think this is a really good way to end the show. I know it, people I've spoke to, it was quite divisive at times, but I thought there was another episode in it which was kind of similar to the Beard one, which we will get to, where it's like there's no real mention of football at all, but it's just a great episode. I think there's a lot of really cool sort of payoffs to stuff that's been teased from like season 1, cool payoffs from stuff that was teased throughout season 2, and again it really kind of like sets a lot of characters we don't really know too much about, or we have very sparing information about, get like a bit more kind of like development this season. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good season.
Joe, thoughts on Season 3? I think we all agreed on the Season 2 rundown that Season 2 was our favorite. Where do you rank 3? Is 3 your third favorite?
I'd say 3 is equal to 1 in terms of like they're all great. I think 2 just because it fleshes out the world, and then Season 3 basically wraps everything up while still, we get new characters. We get is it Zava?
Yes.
Zava.
Briefly, yeah. But Trent's back in a more like weekly role, in a more predominant role. And like Jay said, we get more backstories about these characters that were background characters in the first season, get kind of introduced to in season 2, and then in season 3 we find out a lot more about them. Colin in particular, Sam a bit more about that. Like it's and again, I know some people like hated the ending of this, and I genuinely think it's the perfect ending to the show. Like, if you've watched the show and understood, I don't want to be like and understood it, but if you have and you understand the characters, it all makes sense. It all makes perfect sense. I know some people really, really hated it, but I think it's, again, and they could have done more. Did they need to? No.
No,
but
they don't.
They do leave it open that they could if they wanted to, but
but
it seems like they're all very well. It seems like Jason Sudeikis is very happy with not doing it anymore. I know. Like a lot of the cast kind of like come out after the finale and were like, if they told me there's a script for it tomorrow, I'd be there. So,
kids, as you're watching this, it's around the time that season 3 ended. It's around the time the show ended as the time you're watching this preview episode. So yeah, it's, I'm with you. I like the thought of it being left open because you love these characters so much that you feel like, oh, cool, they're going to be okay. They've got a new adventure. There's a future for the team. They're going to be fine because it's in good hands. And, even if they'd never revisit it in a weird way, you think, well, they're okay. God, it's so weird to talk about things that aren't real, isn't it? But
everyone gets their happy ever after. That's
yes.
what it is.
Yes, for sure.
And the people who deserve their comeuppance get their comeuppance. Like, it's... Yeah. But again, do I need to see more of this? No. Would I like to see more of it? Maybe. But like I said, Sudeikis is never going to come back. So if they did do it, it would have to be something else completely different with those characters. I think I suggested Jamie and Roy like taking over like a Spanish football team or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But again, that's just really old school British sitcom thing of where they go to Spain on holiday. Like, because that was for everything. From rising down to why you're being served sort of stuff. They'd always just go to Spain on holiday and have adventures there. But yeah, I think leaving it at 3 is the perfect way to round it out. All the stories that need to be told are told, wrapped up. There is a little bit of ambiguity with some things, but that's leaving wanting more, as the old.
And I get what you said. I know what you meant earlier, Joe, about people who are paying attention. And I'll get back to the wrestling stuff, so indulge me for a moment. But like anybody can turn on, if it's a good show and they're hitting the right notes, anybody could turn on a random wrestling show and enjoy something, right? Yeah. But like where a lot of fans, maybe the three of us at times, can sound snobbish is when we'll say, yeah, but that doesn't work for last week. And be like, oh, what are you talking about? For people that pay attention, there's nuances, there's subtle, the eyes will squint, there's a smile, there's one word said that ties back 2 seasons ago. Like wrestling's a lot of the same, like they drop things and then they'll remind you as you go for a storyline. So like there is something to be said for, I'm paying attention, I'm passionate, I know that what he said tonight tied back 6 weeks ago, and that excites me because they're paying it off and they're doing that for me. I feel like Ted did that a lot through this series.
Yes,
I love that.
It was more the outcome of the Ted and Rebecca thing that annoyed a lot of people, and I'm like, but that was never even on the cards.
Yeah,
at no point did they ever hint at that. Like
never.
It would have been so weird if they ended up going at it like knives. Like it just does not work. And also wrestling is just a soap opera where everything is solved by fighting as well. Like
there was one point in season 2, which I think was why everyone I say everyone. Why like a portion of like the sort of Ted Lasso fan base sort of go, which should have been Ted and Rebecca, which is when Rebecca's texting Sam, and then it instantly cuts to Ted walking down a hallway texting somebody, and it's like that's all they needed to then go, oh my god, it's Ted and Rebecca, it's Ted and Rebecca. I even thought the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, maybe it's Ted and Rebecca.
That's because they put lots of red herrings in there for who it was. Yeah. She was texting.
But when it was revealed, I loved the reveal. So it was, it was one of those things. And also, again, it made sense because they shouldn't be in a relationship because they're two broken people trying to help each other get back on track. Yeah. That never works. It would have been an absolute awful idea. And they recognized that, and they made it that it was better that they were two friends who helped each other through the darkest time of their life.
Yeah. I never even saw them as a romantic viability. For me, it was never even on the cards because Rebecca's Ted's boss, and Ted doesn't seem to like do that sort of thing as well. Like, and I think people just wanted it to happen, and that's fine. Go and write your fan fiction,
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of watching the story, and like Tom said, things being planted and paying off, it's all there, and everything in season 3 is the reaping of that harvest of all the seeds they've sown in the first 2 seasons. All bears glorious fruit and is picked off the tree and made into delicious jam.
And there are moments in season 3, kids, spoiler, when you go, have Ted and Rebecca hooked up? We won't ruin it for you, but there's a couple of things that happened, especially one episode in particular. We're like, oh my God, they did.
That's definitely like a nod and a wink, though, isn't it? Like going, we got
people reading forums,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So just like season 2, kids, there are 12 episodes in season 3. We won't ruin it for you, but here's the titles. Smells Like Mean Spirit, I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea, 451, Big Week, Signs, sunflowers, the strings that bind us, will never have Paris, La Locker Room, and I can't pronounce that. Oh, Fales?
Folly.
Thank you. Fale.
It's a play on Le Cage aux Folles, the birdcage.
There you go. Perfect.
Which was remade with Robin Williams in America.
That's right. And then International Bleak, Mom City, and unfortunately for all of us fans, So Long Farewell. And you'll know what that means when we get there. That's episode 12. And that'll be the 12. I'm the most excited to get to Zava, and we won't go into too much detail. But man, I love guys that Zava is so different from everybody we've seen, which is good. It's not a Jamie ripoff. It's not a Roy ripoff. He's his own character.
He's based on a real footballer.
Of course he is.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
I don't know nothing about football, but I'm like, I know there's a guy out there that's this dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like he's absolutely based on a real footballer called Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who just refers to himself as Zlatan, and he would do exactly what Zava would do. We will get in depth into that one because there's a lot to talk about.
Kind of like The Rock, he talks about himself in third person.
Yeah, well, so he signed for LA Galaxy for, I think he was there for 2 years, and his kind of like announcement that he was leaving was he took a picture of himself like in the Hollywood Hills looking over the skyline of LA, saying Zlatan is leaving you, LA. Thank you for being honored to have me, or something like that.
Oh my God!
Wow. He is like the most egotistical footballer I've ever seen.
Can he back it up?
He was fucking incredible.
Wow.
He was one of the best strikers I've ever seen. He was out of this world, but yeah, he believed his own hype.
Wow, that's fun. Yeah, there's another new character introduced in season 3. Well, 2, I would say. But of the 3, he is my absolute favorite. There's another new character introduced in season 3, and I'm not. And Joe, you may have set me straight when I brought her up previously, but the fact that she's more of a plot device than she is a character.
She's very one note. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, she's more of a callback to sort of Keely's past coming back to haunt her, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And how, again, but it also emphasizes the thing of Keely has grown and moved on. She started her own company. She's literally got her own business and office with the glass that turns frosted when you press a button, which is witchcraft to me. And this other character, this girl, hasn't. She's still stuck in that party girl mode. Again, Keely was, but Keely has seen that, looks don't last forever and you have to have something more about you. And yeah, she is purely a plot device and isn't really fully, fleshed out as a character. But I still like. Because we also get Katie Wicks as well, don't we? As the accountant. As the accountant, who is also as the snow globe collecting accountant, who is.
She's fucking great.
Katie Wicks in anything is great as well. If you haven't seen UK Ghosts, I fully recommend. Because she's brilliant in that. She's one of my favorite contestants on Taskmaster, just because she was so like she was such a nice surprise. Because like I'd never really associated her with doing a show like that, and then when she was on it, she was fucking brilliant. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But again, we do get like these new characters. We get Trent returning in a much more involved role because he's writing a book about basically the last 2 seasons, about the fall of Richmond, the rise of Richmond, and what happens in this season. Because I think they're predicted to fall out of the Premiership again at the start of the season, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think it was like a yo-yo team or whatever you called them. Like they just exist between the two forever. Yeah.
Well, Trent had lost his job, hadn't he, at the Independent? So
because he grassed up Nate, didn't he?
Yeah, he basically told them he'd reveal the source.
Yeah.
But then obviously, as you say, is kind of like instant thing is actually I'm going to write a book about this team because they seem fascinating, which something you do tend to see like a lot of journalists do every now and again if they've covered a team for that long and they don't feel satisfied with just covering them week by week. They'll actually like write a book about a season, or you see it like a lot with like the Amazon shows that they do on like certain teams. Like Newcastle got one last year, Spurs got one the year before, where it's just like it's just another medium of kind of covering football, but obviously just a chunk of time as opposed to like just by week.
And the other character we were mentioning earlier is Jodie Balfour's Jack Danvers, and you'll see her. She plays a pretty significant role. That's her.
God, I forgot all about. Yeah.
About
that.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
So I mean,
isn't it?
Oh, there's 4 then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's also Rebecca's so and so, who we won't ruin that for anybody here, in case they have not watched season 3. But you can always count on the regular cast to show back up. May will be here. The guys will be here. Baz, Jeremy, and Paul. So Mr. Man's back around. Yes. Phoebe's back. Coach Cartrick.
Oh, Cartrick in his shorts. Oh,
yes. Oh my.
Big seasons for Isaac, Colin, and Sam as well.
Yeah. Sam's
and Jamie and Roy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think towards the end of season 3, Jamie and Roy. There's a moment at the end of season 3 with Jamie and Roy where I'm like, I kind of hate you both, because this is. Yeah. When we get to it, we'll get to it. But yeah.
Well, they kind of like realize that as well, don't they? Like,
as soon as they do what they do, they're like, oh, hang on, this is mess. Yeah,
this isn't us.
Yeah. But yeah, Colin's arc especially is dealt with in a really, really beautiful way. And it kind of came out of nowhere for me, because it's only over like a 3-episode run where all this is revealed, but it's done in such a really, really good and like what's the word I'm looking for? Like sincere way.
Yeah.
And again, when we get to it, I didn't know at the time, but where they have that speech, where they have that chat, is like a tremendously important bit of architecture. And it's just so good. No more vanilla vodka.
Billy Harris as Colin crushes it in season 3. Really well done.
Yeah.
And what I love the most about that, we won't ruin it, but what I love the most about it is that it didn't feel shoehorned in. It didn't feel, oh, he's what? Okay, all right. It didn't feel like that. Like, we don't have to get into it, but I'm sure we've all watched shows where we're like, wait a minute, what? But I think
they've done enough foreshadowing, hadn't they, within the previous 2 seasons, where there was just like little offhanded comments, and it was like, huh, okay.
It's only when you rewatch it you go, oh, it was there all along.
But I think they do it really well. I think when we like kind of watch back season 1 and 2, Colin's one of those characters as well who he's brilliant, and whenever you get like an episode where there's a lot of Colin in, it's like, that's great. I'm happy we're getting so much Colin here. So the fact that he actually gets a story arc in season 3 is brilliant for me.
It's really
good.
And
Sam's arc as well is really good. Is it 3 where we get to meet his dad as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've only heard him on the phone. Have we seen him physically?
No,
I don't think
he comes to visit, doesn't it? And we get again one of those incredibly touching, poignant Ted Lasso moments that.
Yeah.
Ooh, even thinking about it makes me well up a little bit. But yeah, it's good.
Well, don't cry too much, because Henry's also coming back.
I know, but you know. But it's at the end of season 2. Sam has bought the restaurant.
Yep.
Edwin, the fake restaurant that Edwin took him to.
Yeah.
which is again is a good sort of up yours to that, like, and yeah, we get to see like a little bit of Sam being the bear. Yeah,
I just remember a Khufu just going and then throwing it at him. I can't get that image out of my head. Like,
I will buy
You
your
know what I
childhood
mean?
house and burn it down and then poop on the ashes.
oh my God, it's so good.
When he's choking the mannequin as well in slow motion. It's just
Oh,
outstanding physical commentary.
so good.
Oh.
You mentioned, are
But
you
yeah.
guys into The Bear? Because I've actually binged The Bear.
I still haven't watched it yet.
I think
Good.
we did say that when Two Nations finishes, if we were going to do anything else, I would really like to do the bear.
I'd be okay with that.
Purely because
I'd be happy to hold off on it and go in blind then if we were doing it.
do it then, because again,
Season 3 is coming in June, isn't it?
Me and my missus binged it in like 3 days.
Mm.
We had to take a break at one point because I was like, I can't handle the pressure of this episode. It's
man.
So the Festival of the Seven Fishes episode, like that is one of the most painful things I've ever watched on television. It's just so stressful. Where they have the old, it's like a flashback to the Christmas thing, and it's just it's great. But I had to go and like walk the dog and just like kick a hedge to just get that frustration out of my system. But again, it's characters that are so well written and rounded that you care for them. You feel like,
yeah. Jay, we won't ruin it for you, but I'll tell you from my chair that episode 1 and 2 of season 1, I had to pause it multiple times. It is utter chaos. You have to actually turn the volume down because it's just, it's like, I remember telling my wife, I said, God, I hope the whole season isn't like this because I want to enjoy this. But man, there's a reason it's so chaotic. There's a reason they're attacking your senses the way they're doing it. And you don't really know that till later. But it's again, to his point, it's one of those shows.
Again, I would put it on par with Ted Lasso in terms of everything is there for a reason.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Stuff is set up and left, and then they circle back to it, and you go, oh, wait. Yeah, It's again just incredibly well written and great performances, great cast, great acting, and some tremendously inventive swearing.
Yes,
I'm always down for some inventive swearing.
I'm always down for that. Yeah,
and also I can have my own jingle then for Joe's Kitchen Corner because I worked in kitchens for like
there you go,
the most of my adult life. Yeah.
Well, there's your preview, not only of Ted Lasso season 3, but The Bear, in case you haven't watched. So
do
there
go
you
and
go,
watch
kids.
though, because The Bear is great. But yeah, season 3 of Ted Lasso. I kind of want to really get into it because I've missed having these incredibly in-depth dissections of every little nuance in this thing, and it may seem like incredibly nerdy, but I love it. Like if it wasn't so good, we wouldn't be able to go into such minutiae of it. That's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's more of that coming for season 3, kids. Trust me. There'll be however long the episode is. You can guarantee we do that in 30 more minutes sometimes. I mean, it just.
There's some long episodes in season 3, so bring coffee.
Yeah. Pack a lunch. Have your finger ready to pause when you have to go take a bathroom break because.
I think Sunflowers is like an hour. Yeah.
I thought they all.
Possibly, without looking at it, I couldn't tell you. But I know they're more filled out.
I'm sure it's either the season finale or like the penultimate episode is like over an hour.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Oh yeah.
It's just. I'd rather they did this than a season 4 and have half the stories in it. Like,
yeah. Sunflowers is an hour. The last 2 episodes are feature length.
Really?
Yeah. So 11 is an hour and 10 minutes, and the finale is an hour and 15 minutes.
It's fine.
It's so worth it.
Like I said, bring a packed lunch. Let a loved one know where you are.
It's so worth it. And we'll end this with this in case I don't think we've ever mentioned this on the show. If not for Olivia Wilde, Ted Lasso, the show possibly doesn't happen because it was her idea, supposedly, when she suggested that maybe he meaning Jason Sudeikis, revisit the character, perhaps in a new story. So there you go. How about that? By the way, shout out to Olivia Wilde because, wow, that's all I'll say. So I'm a fan. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there to you. Anyway, so that's how we'll end the season. I got no love on that. Y'all left me hanging out to dry. It's fine.
I'm looking up who Olivia Wilde is because I'm thinking, she
really?
from Dread.
She's
I'm
on
House
is where I saw her first.
With someone, I've definitely got her confused with someone else.
Oh.
1 second. Let me.
I think it's not the glass that plays Anderson in Dread. That's Olivia Thirlby.
Yeah, that's not her. Olivia Wilde got her
wow.
start on House.
From Tron.
Mm.
Tron Legacy, sorry. I know what you mean, yeah.
You've said that like anyone gives a crap about Tron Legacy.
Hey, it's got a good soundtrack.
Is that where this CGI thing he's facing, he looks like a whole mess of nonsense?
Yes. It's also the one that Daft Punk did the score to, which is absolutely awesome.
Meh.
I'll use a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference. Whole mess of nonsense. Name my porno movie. You know what I mean? So there you go. I'll end on that. So, well, kids, there you have it. Season 3 preview. Listen, buckle in. Enjoy the new ride that is season 3. Whenever you watch this, get ready or then go watch whatever time you choose to watch this particular episode. We hope you enjoy the ride with us. Season 1 was awesome. Season 2 was more awesome. Season 3 would be even more awesome than that. Thank you again, you guys, for hanging out with us, for giving us your time, your patience, your energy, and for enjoying the show. BoinkStudios.com. Please follow, bookmark the website. Stay up to date on news about not only this show, but all 3 of our podcasts aside from this show. Go check us out. Give us a follow on socials at Two Nations Pod. Everywhere that you follow on social, please follow us. We very much appreciate it. Go enjoy season 3. All right, kids. For Jay and Joe, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.